Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 31 of the Stitching Between Pages podcast. I'm Robin. You can find me on Ravelry as halfpast92, on Instagram and Twitter as medievalisting. You can find the Ravelry group for our podcast over at Stitching Between Pages podcast on Ravelry in the groups tab. And you can find show notes for this and previous episodes at stitchingbetweenpages.blogspot.com. So today is Sunday, May 29th. For those of you in the States like me, happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope you all have nice weather and fun plans to be outside and enjoying the late spring, early summer weather. In Chicago, we've had a couple of 80-degree days, and I think early summer is really here. So I've been trying to be outside enjoying that as much as I can. It's just way too nice to be inside. So anyways, without, I think, any further ado, let's talk about some knitting. I have no finished objects this week. I thought I might have at least a half-finished object, but I'm a little bit shy of that goal. And I also don't have any spinning. I did a little bit of spinning on the braid that I showed you all the past couple episodes, but not really enough to be worth showing. So I have really not planned this out at all, like even less than usual. So I just grabbed the first project bag to my right, and we're gonna go for it. So in this lovely little bag, I have my Fair Isle flower socks, which are, it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's designed by, it's going to escape me. It'll be in the show notes. But anyways, it is a free pattern, which is pretty amazing. That a pattern for Fair Isle socks would be free. So anyways, when I showed this to you last time, I believe I had just finished knitting the cuff, and so I was going to be on to the heel. And this is my nearly finished, half-finished object, if that makes any sense. Sock is nearly finished, one sock is half of a finished object. That's where that thought came from. So I turned the heel. This is a heel flap and gusset. The pattern includes instructions for just a pretty standard slip stitch heel flap and a heel turn. And I'd forgotten, it's been a long time since I did a heel flap and gusset. I've been so stuck on the Fish Lips Kiss heel that it's just been a while. And I forgot how much fun they are, and it makes such a tidy looking heel. I really love how the slip stitches in the heel flap look and how sturdy they make this fabric. Yeah, and I have tried them on, actually. Once I turned the heel, I tried them on, and I can indeed get the Fair Isle over my foot. It's not tight at all, which is great. I didn't think it would be, but you sort of never know, and it has been a while since I did Fair Isle last. So anyways, all I need to do is Kitchener the toe, and then I will be on to the second sock. I'm waiting to Kitchener the toe until I have time to Kitchener the toe and cast on for the second sock. Otherwise, I'm afraid that they will languish for much longer than I would ideally like. I'd like to get these finished because I think they're so cute. So I am knitting, here's the main color. It's just gray, kind of a grayish with like an undertone of beige, which is Regia Extra Twist Merino. I do have two skeins, but I'm not actually sure if I'm going to end up using both of them. I should weigh what I have left from the first skein. But it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and here's the color. It's 9365. So yeah, I haven't weighed it, but I think I might not have used a full half of the 50-gram skein. Because the cuff is shorter than my normal cuff, and also involves my other color, my contrasting color, which is this green, which is Malabrigo sock in the lettuce colorway. And Malabrigo sock is 100% merino. I did actually knit socks out of this green, which we are not going to have any focusing happening on this green. So anyways, green. And oh, the cuff was so much fun to knit. I think, as I said last episode, I think I knit it in an evening, the cuff. And honestly, the heel flap and the foot didn't take me much longer. So yeah, I'm hoping that these can be a finished object soon. And I think I might have to knit a second pair because this is so much fun. I'd forgotten how much fun color work can be. Took me a few rounds to get sort of back into the swing of it, but once I did, it was really, really fun. So that is that. That's my closest thing to a finished object. I have no new projects this week either. I think I used up all of my startitis for last episode. And I am just drinking water today because my apartment has no central air. I have a window air conditioner in the bedroom, but it's not really hot enough to bother turning it on, but it is a little bit too hot to drink a cup of hot tea. So in this bag, I talked about all these bags, I think, last episode. And if you're curious, please feel free to ask me. This one was made by a friend that's not available. She doesn't sell her project bags. But this one is from Gibby Russo's, and they do have an Etsy shop. So if you like that bag, I encourage you to go check out their Etsy shop. So I'm almost to the heel turn on my second little vanilla plus cable sock, which these have appeared in a couple of episodes now. I decided that I wanted to mix up my standard vanilla sock, and so I did so with it's just a simple cable over 4 stitches with some eyelets either side. But it's the perfect thing to just mix it up just a little bit. I think it's a total of 8 stitches that the cable and the eyelets are worked over. So 8 stitches out of 64 is, not a whole lot of time that you have to pay attention, and every other row is just straight netting. So it's, oh, I did not say I was going to talk about the needles. Goodness, I'm really disorganized today. I am knitting my Fair Isle flower socks on Knit Pro Zings in their US ones, which is a 2.25 millimeter, which is my standard sock knitting size. And I really like these needles, actually. They're perfect for just, they're not too sharp, they're not too slippery, but they're also not, blunt or grippy. They're just sort of a nice middle ground needle, which worked out really well for the Fair Isle, and then the plain stockinette. So back to these socks. I am knitting these on my Knitter's Pride carbons, which my parents gave me for my birthday. And I really do love these needles as well. I'd used carbon circulars, but not DPNs. And these are also a US one, which is a 2.25 millimeter, which is my standard sock knitting size. So like I said, I think I have 3 or 4 more. The cable is worked over 4 rows, and I think I have 3 or 4 more cables left to go before the heel turn. And I did keep the cable, in case you don't remember or hadn't seen, I kept the cable going all the way until I started the toe decreases. So this is the first and finished sock. And I am knitting, here's what I have left of the ball of yarn. This is also Regia, but it's just the regular 4-ply, and it's the Nuance series. And it is color 4989. So it's just subtle stripes, and there is a repeat. It's pretty long. I think it goes from here to here. I think that's one complete repeat. So it's pretty long. And I love the subtle stripes. I think they're really pretty. But it works well with the cable. So that is that. I feel like I'm like speeding along, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Okay, next up, speeding right along. I have another pair of socks. This is, I think, it was supposed to be a makeup bag, but I almost never wear makeup, so I've repurposed it into a one skein sock project bag. But it has a quote. The poet Mary Oliver is one of my favorite contemporary poets, and this is a line from one of her poems. I got this little bag at a really cute little, you know, those shops that sell like miscellaneous sort of gifty things, but they're all, you know, candles and magnets and picture frames and things like this. Some jewelry, some little home decor things, mirrors, you know, of a reasonably high quality, but not super expensive in the town where I used to live. It was a fun little shop. Anyways, in this little bag, it really is just a smidgen too small to be perfectly ideal, but I keep using it because I like it. So I am finally knitting. Well, I showed these last week, last episode rather. But I'm finally knitting the Fine and Dandy socks, which I'd had my eye on for a while. And as you can see, they have grown quite a bit, actually. I think when I showed them last episode, I'd knit one repeat, the toe, and then, you know, a row with 4 and then a row with 3 of little flowers. So the rest of them, I think I knit in just a couple of, you know, knitting sessions. So they're really clicking right along. And I've gotten the hang of the little flowers. You can tell the first row is not quite as good. And then I figured out I needed to leave a little bit more. I needed to be a little bit looser when I pulled the loops to make the flowers. I don't want to give too much away. It is a paid-for pattern designed by the Sweater Co., I do believe, on Ravelry. And it costs $1 Australian, which if you live in the States is about 75 cents, which is a steal. And all of the proceeds go to a charity, which is currently UNICEF, which is a really good cause. So if you haven't bought the pattern and are thinking about knitting it, I definitely encourage you to do so. It's also really fun. I'm really enjoying making the little flowers. And I think this color is perfect for them. So I'm knitting, this is some yarn that my mom gave me for Christmas last year, like the Christmas just gone. I say the Christmas just gone, and it is almost June. Wednesday is the 1st of June, which is mind-boggling to me. That's almost, you know, once June's done, half of 2016 is gone. And what is that nonsense? It feels like it just started. Yeah, kind of crazy. I'm really, really not sure. I feel like this past year has just flown by, which I mean, I guess makes sense because it's been quite a year of changes for me, good changes. But yeah, I'm almost done with my first year of graduate school, which is also nonsense. So anyways, this is yarn that my mom gave me for Christmas. And it's this really beautiful sort of soft golden color. It is from Camelot Dye Works, which is a Michigan-based, I think they are a yarn store as well as a dyer, but you can purchase their yarn online. And this is the Galahad sock base, which is merino, bamboo, and nylon in the sunflower colorway. And I'm really enjoying it. The bamboo makes it really, it gives it like this shine and drape, and it's just gorgeous. I really think I might have to get more and knit a shawl or something out of it because, I mean, I love it for these socks, and I think, you know, I know that bamboo and silk are like the natural hard-wearing nylons, if you will. And so I think, you know, with 30% bamboo and 10% nylon, I suspect these will be pretty hard wearing socks. So yeah, I'm really excited. I had to pause. I was knitting on these this morning. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I was knitting on these this morning. Usually I'm a hot coffee person, but as I said, no central air, and I, you know, don't want to keep, I have a window air conditioner unit in my bedroom, which actually just got installed the other day, which was very exciting. But if it's not going to be super, super hot during the day, I'm going to try to avoid having it on all day, just to save energy. And the windows in my apartment all face north, so I get almost no direct sun, or basically no direct sun, which was a bit sad in the winter, but now that it's summer and I'm realizing, oh, I don't get, you know, the beating sun heating up my apartment, it's great. So I'm going to try to have my windows open as much as I can and then just turn it on. I hate sleeping in a hot room. I don't sleep as well. So I know I'm going to be using it quite a lot at nighttime, but since I, you know, don't have central air, I didn't really want hot coffee this morning or, you know, this summer. So I made myself some iced coffee. I cold brewed coffee yesterday. You let it sit for like 12 hours. And then this morning I had the nicest cup of iced coffee possibly I've ever had. It was really good. The cold brewing, and I'm sure, you know, if you're a coffee drinker and you like iced coffee, you know that if you cold brew, it makes the coffee doesn't get bitter the way it does sometimes if you boil it, if you use boiling water and then cool your coffee down. I'm not explaining this very well. I will put a link to, I used instructions from Smitten Kitchen on how to cold brew coffee. And then I put in some vanilla almond milk and it was lovely. And it also, the color was very similar to the color of my sock. So I posted a photo on Instagram of my matching sock knitting and coffee. That was a very long story to tell you that my knitting and my coffee this morning matched. So I had to pause because I think I need to put it on my foot and see how far away I am from the heel, because otherwise I'll just keep knitting and knitting and knitting and my feet are not that big. So that would be sad. And then I would have to pull out my knitting and I don't want to do that. So I need to try it on and just get a sense of, definitely not to the heel turn yet. I also need to look up what kind of heel is included in the pattern. I'd be curious. I don't read patterns. I just go for it. So before I show you my next project, we currently have a knit-along happening. Well, the chatter thread is open. You can come over and chat. You can have started on your project. WIPs are, as long as you're not over 50% done, you're welcome to enter WIPs. But this is the Summer Colors knit-along that I've talked about on the past 2 episodes. And it officially starts on Wednesday, the 1st of June, and it will run through the end of July, so you have plenty of time. Even if you need to order some yarn or whatever, you still have plenty of time to get involved. And I was lucky enough to be invited to co-host the Summer Colors knit-along with Mary and Robin of the Cherry Pearls podcast, who I met at DFW Fiber Fest back in April. So you're welcome to double dip in their group, in whatever other. The basic idea is that you need to use at least 2 different colorways of yarn, and your project needs to weigh at least 75 grams. Other than that, so long as you use 2 different colorways, the world is your oyster. Whatever it is that you want to knit that makes you happy and uses some fun colors, go for it. The colors don't have to be, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have to be like specifically summer colors, so long as there's at least 2 different colorways involved in the project. So yeah, head on over. The chatter thread is already pretty active, which is really great. It's great to see everybody's sweaters, shawls, whatever it is that, you know, people are knitting. There's some great projects and great inspiration over there already. So thanks to everybody who's been participating, and we'd love to have you come on over and join us. So I will open the finished objects thread on Wednesday, and that will be a no chatter thread as usual for prize drawing purposes. Oh, hello. We are being finally graced with the presence of Holly Noise, the co-host. Hi, Noise. She was sleeping in her little cat house when I started filming. But yes, come on over and let us know what you're knitting over there. Get involved. Hopefully next episode I will have some prizes and things to share with you. I'm still working on exactly what those will be. But there will be some good things, don't worry. Yes, so now let me show you. I could not resist, and I'd already started my project last week. Last episode. I have been doing this for over a year, and I still say last week, and it was every other week, Robin, is when you film. So I am knitting the 3-color cashmere shawl, which is a pattern by Hoagie Locatelli. Mine involves no cashmere at all, so I'm calling it the 3-color not cashmere shawl. I'm using all single ply, 100% superwash merino. And so when I showed it to you last time, let me show you my yarn first. I had just knit, I think, one band of the first section, if you will. There's kind of 4 different sections. One has wide stripes and eyelets, the next one is narrow stripes, and then I think it's a texture pattern and then lace. I think I've gotten that order right. So this is my color A, which is Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Modern Fair Isle colorway, which is super fun speckles. Hi, Holly. Why are you biting me? That is a bit rude. Ugh, because you're not paying any attention to me at all, human. It is the worst. And then I have caked up and added color B, which is this beautiful coppery. Hi, Holly. What are you doing? This is from Kismet Fiber Arts. It's their soul base, and the colorway is called Lucky Penny, which I think is a perfect description for, you know, it's this beautiful copper color. So let me show you the tags for those. This is, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Tosh Merino Light, Modern Fair Isle. And then this is the, oh, sorry, excuse me, not Kismet Fiber Arts, Kismet Fiber Works. The Soul Base and Lucky Penny. They put their tags on hair ties, which is super fun. And when I bought the yarn, I had long hair, but I don't anymore, so I had no need for a haircut. In fact, I got my haircut yesterday, and it's now super short on the sides. So I am ready for summer. And my third color, which I am so excited about, is also from Kismet Fiber Works, and it's this beautiful, it's the same base, but this is the Juniper colorway. So I need to, Holly, what on earth are you doing? What is in here, human? It could be exciting things. Not for you, Holly. So I'm really excited to add this in, and thank you to all of you who have, you know, said that you like my color choices. I'm glad. I definitely was a little bit skeptical at first if it was going to work out, but I think it is. So, with apologies for all of the ends that I haven't woven in and the clanking of the needles that just happened, here is, bye Holly, here is my shawl. Let's see if I can show it to you without it curling up on the needles. So I have finished the first section with the wide bands and the eyelets, and I am on to the stripes, the narrow stripes. But I am making myself pause for a little while until June 1st before I go any further. So I'm really enjoying how the Modern Fair Isle has knit up. The speckles are so much fun, and there are, when I was looking at it in the skein, I thought it was really only kind of a bluish gray and an orange, but there's lots of different colors, like tiny pops of pink and blue, and and yellow. It's really, really pretty, and I think it works perfectly with sort of the rich tonal copper color of Lucky Penny. So I'm knitting this on my trusty US 6, which is 4mm Haya Sharps, which it'll be fun when I get to the blue because the cables are blue, so that's fun. But yes, this is on hold a little bit. I had to stop myself, or I think I would have just kept going, especially because these stripes are 2 rows long each, and it's just so easy to think, oh, I'll just knit one more stripe. The rows are getting long, but they're not too long yet, so it's, you know, it doesn't take too long to knit a stripe. Yeah, that is that project, and this is in my wonderful big bag from Deb at Fondant Fiber. Let's see if I can show you the tag. Fondant Fiber. Oops, wrong way. Fondantfiber.com, and that's Fiber. She's in the UK. So it's Fiber spelled R-E. With the little sheep. Look at this little guy. He is very cute. Anyways, I've kept him on there instead of using him as a stitch marker because I think he's just so cute as a zipper pull. So that is it for the knitting. And I wasn't going to have any acquisitions this week, trying not to buy yarn at the moment, and largely succeeding. The only yarn that I've bought lately has been the Regia for my Fair Isle socks because I couldn't get them out of my head and I didn't have anything in my stash that would work for the background color. But I received a package from one of my very, very best friends. We are absolutely miserable at exchanging Christmas and birthday gifts on time. To the point that I have lost track of, I recently sent her a package, and then her package to me came earlier this week. I've lost track of like which Christmas and birthday this was for. So anyways, she and a friend of hers and her boyfriend took a trip to Oslo, Norway. I think they went somewhere else in Norway, but I don't remember where. Anyways, I asked her to send me a postcard. She did not send me a postcard from Oslo. I mean, the postcard is from Oslo, but it didn't get mailed to me from Oslo. But I finally got my Oslo postcard. I'd really love to go to Norway, or Scandinavia in general. I've never been, but it looks so exciting. And then, because she knows me very well, she got me a skein of yarn from Norway. Oh, it's so squishy. So this is from Selbu Spinnery. Selbu Spinnery. We're going to go with that. I do not speak Norwegian, but look, I love their logo. I love the ball of yarn. And there's their website, selbuspinnery.no. And from what I can tell, because this is entirely in Norwegian, which is not a language that I can read or speak, I can tell that there are 140 meters per 100 grams, and this is a 100-gram skein. It must be. And it suggests knitting needles size 4 to 5. So I'd be really curious if any of you are in Norway or know anything about Norwegian knitting. How do they size their needles? Is that 4 to 5 millimeters? That would make sense. That would be like a 6 to an 8 US. Which, and I'm thinking 140 meters to 100 grams is like a worsted or heavy worsted? Bulky? Should have looked this up had I thought about it more. Is it maybe an Aran weight? This might be an Aran weight. It's very dense and squishy, and I'm really excited. I have no clue what I'm going to do with it. The camera isn't picking the color up very well, but I think it's a dark gray, or a dark, I was looking at it in one light and it looked more brown, and now it looks more gray, and I'm really not sure. I'm guessing it is a natural color from whatever sheep it's from. It does not say. Definitely something I'm thinking, is this 2-ply something yarn? I don't know. I need to learn Norwegian. I don't know. I can pick out, it does say something about it being useful or like usable, good for knitting something or weaving. Maybe knitting, crochet, or weaving. If any of you are in Norway, you're probably yelling at me now and being like, please stop attempting to speak our language because you don't know anything. Yeah, stricking, that's definitely knitting. And I assume, hang on, I'm struggling with my hand-eye coordination here. I'm guessing that is weaving. Is that maybe crochet? I'm uncertain. I'm pretty sure that stricking is knitting, and I'm pretty sure I'm not saying that right. So yeah, if you're in Norway or have used this yarn before, let me know. I'm tentatively thinking this would be a really great, super cozy hat, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So I'm going to, it's special yarn anyways. It's going to sit in my stash for a little while. But it's so squishy and sheepy. I love it. And it's also, it looks like it should be really rough, but it's actually quite soft, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm not sure yet what I will use it for. But like I said, if you've used this yarn, heard of this yarn, speak Norwegian, know anything about knitting in Norway, let me know. I'd be very curious. So I do have a book for you all, and I need to start reading some novels again this summer because I'm sort of running low on books that I have in my apartment that I've read and loved enough to talk about on the podcast. Because currently I don't have a whole bunch of time to read for pleasure. But I am going to tell you about Ship Fever by Andrea Barrett. It is a collection of, I think, 8 short stories. 6, 7, 8. Yes, 8 short stories. And it won the National Book Award, so that's exciting. And the reason I am talking about this, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe, I went into a used bookshop and bought 5 books that they're sitting, my dining table is right there, and they're sitting in a stack on my dining table. I bought 5 books that I have like 0 time to read, but it was a used bookstore and they were really cheap, so I bought them anyways for, when I have some time. And one of the books that I bought was another collection of stories by Andrea Barrett. And all of the stories in this collection, they're all, or almost all, historical fiction. They're also all based in some way, shape, or form. They're all about science, which sounds odd, but it works really well. It's really good. They're kind of, I would say, the stories are at like the intersection between art and science, in that Andrea Barrett is an incredible storyteller. But also it's neat to sort of get this historical perspective on the science world in the 19th century. So I shall read the back. Set against the backdrop of the 19th century, the elegant short fictions gathered here take their impulse from the world of science. Interweaving historical and fictional characters, they illuminate the secret passions of those driven by a devotion to and an intimate acquaintance with the natural world. And I believe Andrea Barrett has also written novels, but this is the only book of hers that I've read. And like I said, I have another collection of her short stories that I am excited to read. I read this one. I bought it, I want to say I bought it in like 2012. I bought it used. And I think it took me a couple of years before I finally actually read it. But when I did, I remember, and I read it a couple of years ago. But I remember just like gulping it down. They're really beautiful stories. And as you can probably tell by the fact that I am a history graduate student and not a science graduate student, science is not my subject. It's one of those things that I enjoy and appreciate, but I don't know anything about. But you don't need to know, these are beautiful stories regardless. So yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say about any of the individual stories, because I don't remember enough about them. Just that they're really, really beautiful stories. And I love, the good thing about short stories too is that they're easy to dip in and out of. You can read, the first story is 23 pages long, and then if you put it down for 3 weeks and don't pick it up again, until 3 weeks later, you won't have forgotten where you were. You can pick up a different story. The drawing on the cover, which I will say is a botanical illustration. I'm reading from, it says on the back. It's a botanical illustration of Pisum sativum, which is one of the pea species. That's surprisingly hard to say. Pea species, studied by Gregor Mendel, the geneticist, scientist who he was a monk, actually. Pretty sure Gregor Mendel was a monk, and he bred peas and did Punnett squares and things like that. I do remember doing Punnett squares in biology, and those were so much fun. That was like the peak of my science abilities. I'm struggling to speak today. English is hard. And the drawing of the peas is from Franz von Paula Schrank's Flora Monacensis, which was produced between 1811 and 1818, so it is itself a 19th century illustration, suitable for a book about 19th century science. And I do believe that one of the stories talks about Mendel, or includes, yes, the first story, and he was an Augustinian monk. In what is now Czechoslovakia. Goodness, struggling to speak today. So I would highly recommend, if you like short stories or science, 19th century science, or historical fiction, it's really, I think I bought it on a whim, possibly because I liked the cover. I really love botanical illustrations. I think they are absolutely gorgeous. And I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I really, really did. So, yes, Ship Fever by Andrea Barrett. And had I thought ahead, I would have grabbed the other book by her that I recently purchased, but I will include the title of that one in the show notes. I obviously haven't read it yet, so I can't tell you how it is, but if you are curious, or if you, like me, have read and enjoyed Ship Fever, yeah, if you have a favorite, we haven't had a question in a while. If you have a favorite author of short stories, come over to the episode thread and let me know. Because I really enjoy short stories, but I don't read them as often as I tend to read novels when I read fiction. So if you have a favorite short story author, the other collection of short stories that I've talked about on the podcast that immediately jumps to mind is Charles Dillon's Muse and Reverie. And I have also read some of Neil Gaiman's short stories. Fragile Things, the collection Fragile Things, is the one that I definitely know I've read. So yeah, if you are a short story person, let me know. I'm curious what short stories you've been reading lately that are worth checking out. Because maybe I should take my own advice and read some short stories, since I can pick them up and put them down much more easily than a full-length novel. But yeah, this was a really short episode, guys. It happens. Nothing super new to talk about. So here we are. Come on over to the Ravelry group and join in the fun of the Summer Colors Knit Along. There's some really great stuff that people are knitting that's inspirational, and who doesn't love playing around with color? It's a really great idea for a KAL. So thanks to the Cherry Pearls ladies for the idea and for letting me get in on the fun and getting to share the fun with all of you. So that's really great. If you are new to the podcast, thanks for coming and watching. And if you are a returning viewer, as always, thanks for coming back to check out the podcast again and see what is new. I'm trying to think if anything new and exciting has happened. I feel like it's, trucking along with work and, knitting when I can and enjoying the beautiful weather. I've been, a couple of my friends, one of my friends has a rooftop deck and another friend has a back porch, and I have been over at both of their places recently and enjoyed sitting outside. And I think Chicago people really do appreciate summer. Chicagoans really do appreciate summer because we get harsh winters. This was a mild winter, but after it's been cold and miserable outside, you appreciate it when it's nice. So I'm looking forward. There's a farmer's market not too far from me that starts up, I think the second weekend or third weekend of June. So I'm looking forward to that. I really enjoy walking around farmers markets and seeing, people with their dogs and all the farmers and fresh vegetables and fruit. And it's a fun thing to do on a weekend morning. And so I have some errands to run this afternoon. And otherwise, I think it's just business as usual. So thanks for coming and watching, spending a little bit of your time with me. I always enjoy sitting down to film the podcast. So, it means a lot to me that you guys enjoy watching it as well. Until next time, until 2 weeks from now, at which point I will have finished my first year of graduate school. So that is super exciting. Until next time, happy knitting. Bye.